Hey guys, welcome back to my Java tutorial series. Today we're going to be learning about objects. And yes, I know that I've kind of mentioned objects in previous videos. However, today I actually want to go in depth and tell you all exactly what they are. So the definition of an object, a very broad definition I think, is that an object is an entity that you manipulate in your programs. Not very helpful, I understand that. So we could just change that to say an object is something that you manipulate in your programs. We can just substitute entity for the word something. So knowing that an object is something that you manipulate in your programs, I would like to introduce an analogy that I think helps in order to understand what an object is. So imagine that you have a warehouse, and this warehouse is full of boxes. Inside each box is some piece of information. I don't care what it is. It could be paper with stuff on it. It could be cookies or like, I don't know, gold bullions. It doesn't matter. The boxes just are filled with something. So for this warehouse analogy, I'm going to tell you that each box is an object. Why? Because each box is manipulatable and it stores information. That means that I could change the information within any box at any point in time. I could say, oh, well, this box has paper in it. I could take the paper out and substitute it for, I don't know, clothes or something. What I'm trying to get at is that that box is manipulatable. You can change the contents of the box, much like you can change the contents of an object. So now I'm going to try and do a little demonstration with it because objects are used in methods, and we learned that for a method, let's take the print line method, we have our implicit parameter, the system out, our method, print line, and our explicit parameter, sum. The system is the object. Out is just a modifier for it because our system is, think of it as just the computer itself, or the Eclipse application. You could think of it as that as well. And we can change the application. Let me show you what I mean. In this console, we're changing the console. Let's think of the console as the system object at least. We can say, all right, well, this is blank. We can change that. We can give the console information, and we can do whatever we told it to do. Really, objects are kind of difficult to understand at first, but once we get to use them, and I think one of the next videos will actually play around with objects. This one's just kind of an introduction to objects. But once we get to that one, I think it'll be a lot more clearer, or a lot more clear, sorry. I should know how to speak English by now, but oh well. So before we really play around with objects, I'm going to do this once more. The system is our object. It is our Eclipse application, the compiler, whatever you want to call it. But the system is the object because we change what it does. We change the information that it stores. It stores that, but I could just change it to say, I don't know, let's do string, and I'll just do red. There we go. I changed the information that the system holds, as seen right here. And out, I'm just going to do a quick explanation of that modifier. That's just telling Eclipse that we're going to be accessing the output of the system. That is, we're going to be sending things out of the system to the reader of the console, really. or we're just going to be sending stuff to the console if you want to take out a step. There is also a system in, and that means that it's taking input from either the keyboard, the mouse, a microphone if you wanted to, just any sort of input that's, getting processed. And out to console or to the reader, in, just input. Output, input, input, output. That's pretty much I think those are the only modifiers for an object. Those are the only modifiers for an object that I know. So let's try and do another example of an object. I'm going to pause this and think of one, and then I'll be right back. So I just went over to another Eclipse project that I have. It's a game I'm working on. And I found a very basic object, and it's the player object. So if we think of the player as some entity that stores data, it's an object. The data it stores is the player's x coordinate, the y coordinate, the serial ID of the player, I guess, and whatever texture the player is going to be. So I could change this at any point in time. I could say, oh, well, the player's going to not be a person, it's going to be a tree or something. Or I could have the player start at the coordinate 100, 100, but I want to change it so that the player starts at 101, 135. It doesn't matter what numbers you choose. I'm just using this as an example that this is an object. It stores data. The data can be changed. So let's go back to our tutorial project. So that was pretty much objects from another class. If I wanted to use something from another class, I would just do it would pretty much be class name dot object, really, if I wanted to access it. It's pretty standard for Java. Object, and then I don't know if it had anything else or if I just wanted that, so on and so forth. So I think that wraps up our introduction to objects. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. Any suggestions for future video, let me know in the comments section or whatever. Like and subscribe if you found anything useful. Otherwise, I will see you later, guys.